lived in a house and bad and creepy things were always happening, you would just move, right? Well, what happens if you move and then the house calls you back? One woman named Demetria says that's exactly what's happening to her, and this just happened recently. She's very creeped out by it, and she's looking for any advice or anyone to make sense of what she just experienced. If you're new here, Spooky Scary Storytime is my series where I share listeners' allegedly true scary stories, the ones I think nobody else would believe. And they don't always deal with the paranormal or the supernatural, but a lot of times they do. Full disclosure, Demetria says she does dabble in root work, and I'm not going to get too into that because it's not something that I know a whole lot about, but it's a deeply spiritual and cultural practice. But Demetria says she tries not to practice as much after experiencing some bad karma from doing some rituals. That said, she said that supernatural things seem to happen to her a lot. Like, she'll have a dream and then that'll happen, and it doesn't creep her out too much. But the creepiest thing in her life by far was living in this house that she lived in from when she was 13 to 18. And during the time she lived there, it was just a bad period. Like, things were always going wrong. Her brother, who had never demonstrated any sign of mental illness in the past, went completely crazy. He would bend his fingers backward. He would yell at everybody. He would cuss at everybody. He would spend all afternoon and evening sitting on the back lawn, staring into the trees, rocking back and forth. In the house, he would whisper to himself constantly, and when anybody asked, "Who are you talking to?" he would just say, "No one." Also, during this time, her sister claimed that she saw a woman in white walking down the hallway. Demetria says she also experienced something creepy in the house. She was in the kitchen one night. I guess there was a half wall separating the living room from the kitchen, and she witnessed somebody peek over the half wall at her with glowing red eyes. Before Demetria moves out of this house when she was 18, she found out she was pregnant, but she was riddled with problems this entire pregnancy. She was put on bed rest, she could not move around, and her son was born. He was very colicky, he was not a happy baby. The only time he wouldn't cry was when she held him, but luckily after they moved out of the house, the problems seemed to stop, which brings us to the present day, about 2 weeks ago. It's the day before her son's 12th birthday. Demetria says she was looking for a very specific gift, something that her son wanted desperately. She found it on Marketplace, and she ends up messaging the seller. The seller says, "Yeah, it's still available, you can come pick it up," and she says, "Cool. Let me know a time for you. Let me know your address." The seller sends her the address, and her jaw drops because it is the same address that she lived at from the ages of 13 to 18. On the drive over there, she's telling her partner all about all the bad things that happened in this house when she lived there. And her partner's like, "Do you still want to go get this thing?" And she's like, "Yeah, let's just get it. Let's just get it over with. I'm just really unsettled that I have to go back there, She said the seller was kind of strange, and she gives him the money, and he wasn't talking much. And so she mentions to him, "I used to live here for 5 years when I was like 13 to 18. And he looks at her very strangely, and he says, "No, you didn't." And she says, "Yes, I did." And he says, "No, my family owns this house." He said it so matter-of-factly, it wasn't up for debate, but the way that he said it really gave her the creeps. And so she just took the item and they left. But mind you, her son's 12th birthday was the very next day. And she said it's been about 2 weeks, but she cannot shake this gut feeling that something is very wrong about this whole exchange. She wonders if the house or the woman in white is trying to call them back or get the attention of her son, because that's what it always seemed to want. And all this activity started around the time she got pregnant. She said, "I'm racking my brain trying to figure this out, so let her know your thoughts and follow for more stories."